Incredible scenes of destruction as Hurricane Michael continues to ravage the Florida Panhandle. Michael, now the worst storm to slam this coastal area of Florida in a century. The storm's effects felt even here, far from its path. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 11.
Good evening. Let's take you right out to Atlanta, Georgia. You're now taking a live look at a tower cam there as the area braces for Hurricane Michael. You can see there rain covering the camera lens and just the faint view of the Atlanta, Georgia skyline. Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Right now we are actively tracking Hurricane Michael. You can see it here behind me, sweeping across the Panhandle tonight and moving up into Georgia. The storm has already caused destruction in its wake, flooding streets and destroying businesses. Panama City, Florida especially hit hard. The storm there reducing the street to what looks like a scene from a movie. Elizabeth Herr has more tonight. Elizabeth?
The wind and rain were punishing all day, but finally the conditions are improving, but we're told the danger isn't over yet. Hurricane Michael making history, crashing into the Florida coast with ferocious winds 155 miles per hour, making landfall on Mexico Beach.
I saw an entire home taken off of its foundation and rolled down the street.
Our Ginger Z witnessing Michael's fury firsthand, right there where a blue house can be seen across the street, but the spot where the house once stood, now empty.
That is where the house used to be.
David Muir and team also on the ground in Panama City, capturing Michael's raw power.
It's gonna go, it's gonna go. You can see the roof of the hotel that we had been standing out there. That was the shelter for a Category 4 hurricane. That has now come down on those SUVs.
Michael continuing its path of destruction, marching inland, ripping apart homes, toppling trees, and knocking down power lines along the way.
It was terrifying, honestly. There was a lot of noise.
The dumbest thing I've ever done in 77 years is to stay through a hurricane. When they say evacuate again, phew, I'm out of here.
The monster storm also wreaking havoc in Georgia, where the last major hurricane to track into that state was 1898. Tonight, the true size and scope of Michael's damage just beginning to be assessed. And the store sign blown we're seeing with lights. We are using a generator, and that is because there is no power in this area. In fact, officials say hundreds of thousands of customers will be spending the night in the dark, and officials say that number will likely rise, and crews could be spending the next few weeks trying to get everyone back online here. Reporting live in Panama City Beach, Florida, I'm Elizabeth Herr, ABC News. Back to you.
Thank you. Even though we are out of the path of that storm, we have been seeing some of its threatening effects. Take a look at this video that was captured this evening near the North Siesta Key Bridge. It shows a water spout there. Now, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan joins us with a look at our first alert forecast. And Bob, we've seen numerous videos of this water spout today and possibly some others as well.
Yeah, whenever a storm makes landfall, it really starts to pick up in intensity in terms of the outer bands, and they do get quick little spin-ups. Now, a tornado watch is in effect north of our area. We have had a water spout this morning. We had one this afternoon or this evening on Lido, and it looks like that threat is lessening, but still a little bit of a chance to get a water spout maybe here and there. I don't think we'll see any tornadoes, but this wasn't a massive storm, and as we heard earlier from the reporter from ABC, this is going to be amazing when you see the destruction that it caused when they do the helicopter flybys tomorrow. That footage will just show you the enormity of this system and how intense it really was. This was the fourth strongest storm ever to hit the United States. It was the strongest storm ever to hit the United States in the month of October, and they've never had a 4 or a 5 in the Panhandle of Florida of all the records kept for over 100 years now. This system is really winding down now, but it's still a formidable storm causing all sorts of problems into Georgia. They're getting power outages there as well as some flooding problems. It's going to continue to race off to the east-northeast, and once it gets into the Atlantic again, it's going to intensify into another pretty big storm, extra tropical cyclone it looks like, on in through Friday late and Saturday. Northeast winds, that's how it's moving now, very fast at 20 miles an hour. It's down to a Category 1, so it went from a strong 4 down to a Category 1 in short order, and that's a result of the fact that it's not over the warm water anymore. That's what drives these storms. Top winds are down to 75 miles an hour. Further weakening is likely as it moves off to the northeast. I mentioned it will cause some problems again along the Carolina coast. Not too bad, but some rain there, and then it will re-intensify as an extratropical low out into the Atlantic, where it will get to be a fairly significant storm, but thankfully it won't have an impact in any land area. Well, the rainfall is still very heavy up through Macon, all the way up into Atlanta, in fact, and some strong winds up into Atlanta, and some feeder bands already starting to work on the east side of Georgia. We've had a few bands around here. Every once in a while, you'll see a rogue shower pop up here and there, and the water spot that was generated by the shower that moved into Lido right around 6:30 was not a very big storm. It just shows you that there's still quite a bit of vorticity or spin in the atmosphere to generate these quick little water spots. That one dissipated. That's what they typically do. When water spots make it to land, they fall apart within just less than a minute in some cases. Some showers near Lakewood Ranch and also near the UTC. That's moving off to the northeast at around 20 miles an hour. There's another one that's popped up southwest of Venice. That too will be moving through. But I think you can be calm tonight, knowing that we're not going to see anything too rough tonight. Things will be rather calm as far as that goes. You may see a brief shower move through, but we're not anticipating anything too severe. The winds have come down too. That's a good sign. Also check some of the tide gauges, and they too are not running as high as they had been. They're at about 1.5 feet above average right now. Jacqueline?
All right, Bob, thank you. Well, the storm today may have uncovered a hidden historic jewel of Sarasota. Take a look at this video from Lido Casino Beach. Erosion from Hurricane Michael there revealing these slabs of concrete showing a tiled flooring. Now, the beach there got its name because it used to be the location of a casino that was built by John Ringling. The Lido Beach Casino was torn down 45 years ago. At the time, it was considered the centerpiece of our area. Well, while they don't compare to the problems experienced by people in the hardest hit areas of Florida, Hurricane Michael did make its presence known on Longboat Key. Streets on the northern part of the island have flooded for the past 2 days. ABC7's Rick Adams has more tonight from Longboat Key with the latest that's been happening there.
This has been a common sight on parts of Longboat Key the last 2 days. Vehicles driving through floodwaters or people trudging through the wet mess just to get to their mail. It's been a little nerve-wracking for Nancy Greenhouse and her husband. They live in the village area of the island.
You are kind of trapped, for non-emergency kinds of things.
The storm surge from Hurricane Michael combined with high tide, or what some residents are calling king tide, is to blame. The northern part of Longboat Key has been the hardest hit, with floodwaters that were at least 2 feet deep in places.
At the peak of the water level here yesterday, we had our people in here assessing where the highest points were and so forth. But it didn't get too high to respond yesterday, and today obviously we're in much better shape.
Although some of the floodwaters remain throughout part of the day today, residents were happy to see it start to disappear. We did not hear of any homes being damaged by this flooding, which is something people who live here are grateful for.
The water has not come up more than 2/3 up the way up our driveway, and then you sort of watch, and when the water stops sort of running in that direction and goes still, you know that the tide is turning and it's going back out, and so then you're not nervous anymore.
That was ABC7's Rick Adams reporting. Now, town officials are keeping a close eye on tonight's high tide. That will be happening around 2 o'clock this morning. Manatee County now offering help to the Panhandle. This evening, Manatee County Public Safety deployed its strike teams. The emergency crews will be going to Bay County, Florida. That includes Panama City, which was hit especially hard by Michael. And as you can see here, Florida Power and Light also out in force at the Sarasota Fairground. The fleet parking there overnight. Now they're set to deploy to Jacksonville. The fleet is expected to move out tomorrow morning. And we're already seeing some incredible images of damage from Hurricane Michael. Take a look at this video out of Panama City. What looks like a school auditorium absolutely gutted. Some drone video there that is just incredible. You can see how that wind swept through the drone flying through that wreckage. Also in Panama City, this video really giving you an idea of just how strong the winds were there. A railing just completely collapsing. You can barely even see it right there because the wind and the rain just toppling through that area. Also an image of the First Federal Bank in Panama City As well, the windows blown out completely at that building. And in Okaloosa County, a man had to be rescued earlier today. That's after his boat capsized in the rough surf. You can see responders pulling his boat to shore. I believe we actually have the wrong video there. That looks like it is a boathouse that may have been collapsed as well. Well, stay with us. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast and the latest on Hurricane Michael, plus a no swim advisory now in effect for several Suncoast beaches. Stay with us. We'll have those latest updates when we come back.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Hi, I'm Chef Allen, and watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up our most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix to sample, pick up the recipe card, and all the ingredients.
Blue 32, Blue 32, hot, hot. It's the Gatto Gridiron Challenge. The game's on to sell 2,000 vehicles. 12 teams compete for the #1 spot. Score a great deal at every Gatto dealership. Buy with 0 down. Make no payments for 90 days. Choose from 14 of your favorite brands, all on sale. Who will make it to the end zone? You decide. Rush to a Gatto location near you or visit Gatto.com.
Gatto's got it.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Our coverage of Hurricane Michael continues. Here's what we know right now. At least one person has died as a result of the storm. Authorities say a Panhandle man was killed by a falling tree as Hurricane Michael tore through the state. Around 200,000 people are without power tonight, and there are more than 1,000 search and rescuers ready to deploy. Several cities in the Florida Panhandle and Georgia continue to hunker down. We have these reports from our sister stations in the storm's path.
Damage is extensive, of course, here in Panama City. In fact, all across Bay County and even further to the east toward Apalachicola, Mexico Beach, perhaps one of the most heavily damaged areas. But here in Panama City, if you are curious about what kind of damage can come from a Category 4 hurricane, well, there's a wordless example of exactly what can happen. Obviously, there's widespread damage, and I would venture to say virtually everyone tonight is in the dark.
Here in coastal Georgia, they're mostly worried about downed trees, downed power lines, and also mobile homes in the areas where some of these winds will be the worst. Because of that, churches like Sandhill Baptist Church are opening up as shelters for people nearby. They're allowing people to come in at whatever time they would like and then stay as long as they would like. In speaking to people with the EMA here, they're mostly worried about those trees and power lines that might come down. Because of that, they've given all the deputies that are working in Effingham a chainsaw. They also have crews throughout the county with chainsaws as well, so they can cut up those trees quickly and then make those roads safer.
Some have asked why this response is a little different than that of Florence. I've been told that's because of the speed and the path that Michael is taking, definitely by the time that it gets to South Carolina. Again, they have moved their operational level of readiness here to OPCON 3. What that means is that a disaster or emergency situation is likely.
As we learn more about the damage that Hurricane Michael is causing to parts of the Panhandle, one evacuee of North Florida tells us evacuating to Sarasota may have been the right thing to do. He's lived in Florida for most of his life, going through Hurricane Andrew in 1992. He also had to evacuate Hurricane Irma last year while living in the Florida Keys. Now he lives in Walton County, about 50 miles west of Pensacola. He evacuated a few days ago and is now staying with a friend in Sarasota. He says this time he's learned quite a few lessons.
Last time I left Irma, I didn't pack everything, and by the time I got back, everything was ruined, so I had to start over. This time when I evacuated, I grabbed everything, so even if I go back and there's structural damage, at least my personal belongings will be safe this time because they're with me and not like I left them behind in Irma.
Belcher says he had thoughts of riding this one out, but his gut instinct and the fact that he's been through this before propelled him to evacuate. And there's also an urgent need for both blood and platelet donations right now. Blood banks in the path of Hurricane Michael are not able to accept donations right now, and it could be days before they are able to reopen. Blood banks in the affected areas are now relying on donors from other areas. The Suncoast Blood Bank is asking people to donate now to help those Hurricane Michael victims, especially those with O negative and O positive blood types, which will be in high demand. And Bob, I fear the amount of damage that this hurricane is leaving behind is just going to be unbelievable, and it's really only just the beginning that we're seeing it.
It is, really. And the thing is that we had one death that you said, that you talked about in the news. That's going to go higher. There's no doubt about it. This is that people can't get to certain communities yet because the roads are blocked full of trees and power lines as well as down power poles. The storm surge was incredible. I saw some video. I posted it on my Facebook page of a couple of storm chasers that got in trouble, and that is just amazing. That really shows you the power of these storms, and they're nothing to fool with. And as far as getting out of the harm's way, you know, judging the intensity of a storm, a lot of people like to play forecaster. The best device is when you get in a warning and you're asked to evacuate, you should leave. Depending upon, it doesn't matter how strong or how weak the storm's expected to be, it can always get stronger. The models aren't always that good at predicting the intensity of these storms. We saw that with this particular one. Here's Casey Key. Waves are still up there. The threat of flooding like we've seen over the past couple of nights is not there as much anymore. The storm surge, it got as high as 2 feet for the most part, and you coupled that with the high tide, which was also around 2 feet. Caused a 4-foot surge for the most part, but we're looking at about a 1 to 1.5 right now storm surge going on. Well, let's put an end to this day with a nice photo from Venice Gardens. Kimberly Slade getting that beautiful shot to show that there was a little sunshine this afternoon. Boy, no sunshine today at all in the Panhandle of Florida and now into Georgia, where power outages are likely, and near Macon all the way up into near Atlanta. There's still a lot of strong wind with this that will work its way down to the surface, and we're starting to see feeder bands work their way onshore into the east side of Georgia. We've had a few showers popping up here and there, still around, and for the most part not very intense, but we saw that earlier with the water spout. It wasn't much of an intense storm there that produced it, so there's still a little bit of vorticity or spin in the atmosphere, which could generate a little bit of a twister, but not much of a chance of that. The chances are less than 2% really, and you can see that activity developing right near Lakewood Ranch, pushing off toward State Road 70, and some rain just north of State Road 64. This one just popped up recently, pushing off to the northeast. The winds aren't nearly as strong as they have been. They're still out of the south at around 10 to 20 miles an hour. You can see that 19 in Minnesota, Rotunda at 17. The forecast for tomorrow, when you wake up, the winds will be out of the west at around 10 miles an hour, so that's going to be a relief. The wave action will still be happening, though, and then we'll get a little bit of north wind A north wind will cool things down a little bit, especially on Saturday morning when lows will be into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees, but highs still going to warm up to near average or slightly above it on Saturday afternoon and evening. Well, the tropical season is not over yet. And by the way, it's now considered an active hurricane season. It is above average as far as energy goes. Now, we dealt with Michael, obviously still having problems with it. We have Leslie out there, which continues to just kind of work its way around the Atlantic. That's now a hurricane. And Nadine is heading off to the west, but is expected to break up and turn into a tropical wave. We'll have to watch that down the road. And there's a little area right here that the Hurricane Center has its eyes on, could develop into a tropical system in the next 5 days. This one, as I said, is going to head off to the west and for the most part get beat up by some strong upper level winds and become a tropical wave. Leslie doesn't know what she's doing out there. She's been out there for 18 days now, spinning around. She may even come back toward the southwest, and the longest running hurricane has been 27 days. The next name up is Oscar. So far this season, we've had 14 storms, 7 hurricanes, and 2 major ones, and that is above average, and we still have a month and a couple of weeks to go before the official end. The next name, Oscar, I said, followed by Patty. Hopefully, we won't see any more, but I would suspect we'd see at least Oscar and maybe even Patty. 82 degrees right now. It still feels warm and muggy out there. 92 degrees. Nationally, there is a cold front bringing snow into Minnesota and also into Wisconsin tonight. And as far as temperatures go, it's chilly. 40s across the northern plain states. Still warm in the deep south, though. And we're not going to see any big cold fronts here until about, I think, a couple weeks from now, maybe about 10 days from now. 70% chance for spotty showers overnight and tomorrow morning. And then we're looking at a good weekend, though. Sunny skies, high temperatures, still warm, but we'll take it. Jacqueline?
All right, Bob, thank you. A no swim advisory is now in effect at several Sarasota County beaches. The advisory includes all of the beaches listed on your screen, including Longboat Key, North and South Lido, and the Venice Pier. This is due to the amount of bacteria that has been found in the water. Despite the advisory, at Lido Beach this evening, people were spotted surfing in the water there during this advisory. Remember, beaches will remain open, but swimming is not recommended. Northport police are asking for your help tonight. They're looking for this man. They say he broke into a car at a CVS in Northport. A wallet and several credit cards were stolen. They were then used at a Walmart an hour later. If you recognize him, you're being asked to contact Northport police immediately. Sarasota County Commissioners voting against a proposed ordinance that would have prohibited the cultivation and sale of recreational marijuana. The vote was 3-2 against, as dozens of people lined up to ask commissioners to reject it. The concern for many was the ordinance was too general and would have also prevented retailers from selling CBD oils and hemp products.
Why would you prohibit something that's already prohibited? And it's also just strange that this is happening.
Because that proposed ordinance did not clearly specify the types of cannabis that it would restrict, some commissioners would not move forward with it. However, most commissioners did say they were opposed to recreational sales of marijuana within the county. State law still prohibits recreational use of marijuana. Still to come here on ABC7, new developments in that deadly New York crash that killed 20 people. The charges now being filed. Plus, President Trump at a rally in Pennsylvania tonight, his comments on Hurricane Michael.
Kimmel's New That's What with the elusive Jamie Lee Curtis.
I don't do late night television.
Well, please stay. It's the lovely Olivia Hamilton plus Dua Lipa, and Guillermo's on the road to Brooklyn. Kimmel new tonight on ABC, and all next week, Jimmy's in Brooklyn.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
There are lots of people who are confused about which Medicare plan is right for them.
Hey, that's me. I barely know where to start.
Well, start here with me, Karen. I'm a licensed Humana sales agent.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Karen. I'm John Smith.
Hi, John. At Humana, we know you're unique, so you have different needs from other John Smiths.
Yeah, I've always thought so.
And together, we can find a plan that's right for you.
Great. I go to the doctor a couple of times a year, and I have some prescriptions, but I'm never fully sure of what's covered and what's not.
With Humana's all-in-one Medicare Advantage plans, you get coverage for hospital stays, doctor visits, and Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable and sometimes no monthly plan premium.
Do you have any more information?
Sure. I'll get a decision guide in the mail to you today. They're free.
Finally, someone who understands the real me.
Your health and happiness is important to us. Call or go online now to get your free decision guide. Call a licensed Humana sales agent today.
When ABC7 declares a first alert weather day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Sun Coast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a first alert weather day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A first alert weather day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
President Trump in Erie, Pennsylvania tonight, holding a rally there as Hurricane Michael sweeps the Florida Panhandle, addressing the crowd and the nation on that major storm. Take a listen.
Of our entire nation, to everyone in the path of Hurricane Michael, especially in the Florida Panhandle where it's hitting and hitting hard. It's a big one of the biggest we've ever seen. All of Pennsylvania, all of America sends its unwavering love.
This evening, Florida Governor Rick Scott had requested a presidential major disaster declaration. Should President Trump agree, that action would help get resources and assistance out to impacted counties faster. President Trump is expected to visit the Panhandle and survey the damage on either Sunday or Monday. New developments tonight in that deadly crash that killed 20 people over the weekend. Police have arrested a limousine company owner's son in connection with the crash. Numan Hussein was arrested during a traffic stop. He's listed as the operator of Prestige Limousine Chauffeur Service, which his father actually owns. He is charged with negligent homicide. The vehicle failed a state inspection, meaning that it shouldn't have been in service. The driver also did not have a proper license to operate the vehicle. An attorney for the company says neither claim is true. That crash killed the driver, all 17 passengers inside the limo, and 2 pedestrians. Well, stay with us. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers when we come back.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
We get it. You're busy. But what about those moments when life slows down? It only takes a minute to get election ready. Check your voter registration status. Make sure your signature is up to date. Review your sample ballot. Know your election dates and voting options. So take a moment. Be election ready.
I'm Secretary of State Ken Detzner. Get ready, get set, vote.
The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
Well, you may have noticed there are some blank numbers in your lotto drawing tonight. Once again, we do not have fantasy or lotto numbers tonight. As a result of Hurricane Michael, people had to evacuate the Tallahassee headquarters. That, of course, means no live drawings and some delayed drawings as well. Well, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but one Sarasota auto dealership gives back all year long with its Drive Pink campaign. Today, employees of Mercedes-Benz of Sarasota went to Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. They handed out gift baskets to patients there. The goal, to put a smile on the face of children and their parents as they go through a challenging time. Obviously a big supporter of cancer research there, Dick Vitale, and obviously a great organization to give back to and a great effort as well.
And Dick, he does so much for all those organizations, you know, so he's always working constantly for them and never stops, never seems to run out of energy.
Yeah, he really doesn't. All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.